The phone took forever to boot up. I sat there on the cold garage floor, surrounded by boxes of old Christmas decorations and forgotten photo albums, watching that little loading circle spin endlessly. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. What was I hoping to find? What was I afraid of discovering? When the home screen finally appeared, I was greeted by her wallpaper, a photo of the two of us from my wedding day. I had my arms around her, both of us laughing at something Dad had said. She looked so beautiful that day, wearing that lavender dress she'd spent months searching for. Her hair was still thick then, dark brown with just a few silver strands she refused to dye. "They're earned," she used to say. "Each one represents wisdom I've gathered." I traced her face on the screen with my finger, and that's when the tears started. Big, ugly, gasping sobs that I'd been holding back for 3 years. I cried for the mother I lost, for the grandmother my future children would never know, for all the phone calls we'd never have and advice she'd never give. I cried until I had no tears left, until I was empty and exhausted and numb. Then I started looking through her phone. The gallery first. Thousands of photos, most of them of me. Me as a baby, me on my first day of school, me at piano recitals and birthday parties and graduation ceremonies. Me sleeping on the couch during college breaks. Me cooking in her kitchen. Me trying on wedding dresses. She had documented my entire life with the devotion of someone who knew these images would be all that remained. But then I found photos I'd never seen. Selfies she took in hospital waiting rooms, trying to smile despite the fear in her eyes. Pictures of medication bottles lined up on her nightstand. A photo of her reflection in a mirror, showing how thin she'd become, how the cancer was stealing her away bit by bit. These weren't meant for anyone else. These were her private documentation of the war she was fighting inside her own body. I moved to her messages next. Most were mundane, conversations with Dad about grocery lists, texts to her book club friends, messages to her sister about holiday plans. But then I found a text thread with my name at the top. Except I'd never received these messages. They were drafts. Unsent words she'd written to me but never had the courage to send. And I'm so scared. I don't want to leave you. I wish I could be there for your first baby. I've dreamed about being a grandmother since you were born. I'm not ready to say goodbye. There's still so much I want to tell you. Each message was a knife to my heart. My mother, my strong, brave mother who never showed fear in front of me, who smiled through the pain and insisted everything would be okay, she had been terrified. And she'd hidden it all to protect me from her fear. I kept scrolling through her phone, diving deeper into the digital remnants of her life. Her notes app was filled with recipes she wanted to pass down, instructions for caring for her plants, and something that made me break down all over again, a list titled Things I'll Miss About Being Alive. The list included simple things: morning coffee, the sound of rain, birds singing at dawn, the feeling of sun on her face, my laugh, Dad's terrible jokes, and at the very bottom, watching my daughter become who she's meant to be. But it was what I found in her search history that truly shattered me. And it's what I need to tell you about now, because this is where the real story begins. This is where I discovered the depth of my mother's love and the weight of the secrets she carried to her grave. I almost didn't look at her browser history. It felt like a violation, like reading someone's diary without permission. But curiosity, and that desperate need to feel close to her again, pushed me forward. I opened the browser and clicked on history, expecting to find recipes, news articles, maybe some online shopping. What I found instead was a timeline of her final months that I never knew existed. A chronicle of fear, research, and mother's love so fierce it transcended death itself. The searches started about 8 months before she died, right around the time she must have noticed the first symptoms but hadn't told anyone yet. I could piece together her journey through these searches. Persistent cough that won't go away. Shortness of breath causes. When to see a doctor about fatigue. Early signs of lung cancer. My mother knew something was wrong long before she told us. I remember that time period now with new eyes. She'd been quieter than usual, more reflective. I'd attributed it to her getting older, maybe some seasonal depression. I never imagined she was sitting alone at night, Googling symptoms, growing more terrified with each search result. Then came the searches that confirmed my worst realization. How to tell your family you have cancer. Stage 4 cancer prognosis. Lung cancer survival rates. How long do you have with stage 4 cancer? She knew. Before the official diagnosis, before the family meeting where the doctor explained everything, before we all pretended to be hopeful, she already knew she was dying. And she'd processed that devastating knowledge alone, in the quiet darkness of her bedroom, while Dad slept beside her and I lived my oblivious life across town. But what came next in her search history broke me in ways I didn't know were possible. Because it wasn't about her anymore. It was all about me. How to prepare your daughter for your death. What to leave behind for your child when you're dying. Letters to leave for your daughter. Last words to say to your family. How to say goodbye to your daughter. How to let go when your child isn't ready. Making memory boxes for family. Recording videos for after you're gone. She wasn't just accepting her death. She was actively trying to make it easier for me. She was researching how to leave pieces of herself behind, how to ease the pain she knew her absence would cause. My mother, who was facing her own mortality, was spending her limited time trying to figure out how to comfort me after she was gone. The searches continued, becoming more specific. 30th birthday gift ideas for daughter. Wedding anniversary gifts from mom. What to write in a letter to your daughter before you die. How to tell your daughter you're proud of her. Messages to leave for future grandchildren. How to make your daughter feel your presence after death. I sat there in that garage, reading through months of searches, watching my mother's mind work through the impossible task of saying goodbye. Each search was a love letter. Each query was proof that even as cancer ravaged her body, her thoughts were entirely consumed with protecting me from the pain of her loss. Then I noticed something that made my hands shake. 3 weeks before she died, her searches changed. Password-protected folders on phone. How to leave messages that open on specific dates. Scheduling emails to send in the future. Apps for leaving messages after death. Posthumous message delivery services. My mother had been planning something. She'd been setting up some kind of system to reach out to me after she was gone. My heart raced as I backed out of the browser and started looking through her apps more carefully. That's when I found it. An app I'd never heard of before, buried in a folder labeled For Anne. My hands trembled so badly I could barely tap the icon. The app opened to a simple interface with a message. Welcome, Anne. Your mother left something for you. Are you ready? I wasn't ready. I would never be ready. But I pressed yes anyway, and everything I thought I understood about my mother's death changed forever. The app contained 7 letters. 7 messages my mother had written and scheduled to be revealed to me at specific times. Each one was locked, showing only a title and a date when it would become available. Letter 1, for when you miss me, available immediately. Letter 2, for your 30th birthday, available in 2 months. Letter 3, for your first child, available when triggered by specific keywords. Letter 4, for when you doubt yourself, available immediately. Letter 5, for your 10th wedding anniversary, available in 7 years. Letter 6, for when you need to hear my voice, available immediately. Letter 7, for when you're finally ready to let me go, no date listed. I stared at this list for a long time, tears streaming down my face. My mother had tried to stay in my life. She'd found a way to be present for moments she knew she'd miss. She'd written these letters while fighting cancer, while undergoing treatments that left her exhausted and sick, while facing her own mortality. She'd used her limited energy to reach across time and speak to me in moments she knew I'd need her most. I clicked on the first letter, for when you miss me. The video loaded, and suddenly there she was. My mother, alive on the screen, sitting in her bedroom with afternoon sunlight streaming through the window behind her. She looked thin, her hair covered by a colorful scarf, but her eyes were full of love. "Hi, baby," she said, and I broke down immediately. Her voice. I hadn't heard her voice in 3 years, and hearing it now felt like being wrapped in a warm embrace. "If you're watching this, it means you found my phone. I was hoping you would, eventually. I knew you'd need time before you were ready to go through my things. That's okay. There's no timeline for grief, sweetheart. Take all the time you need." She paused, looking directly into the camera with that knowing look she always had when she could see right through me. "I imagine you're in the garage right now. You always retreat there when you need to be alone. Am I right?" I laughed through my tears. She knew me so well. "I wanted to leave you these letters because I knew there would be moments when you'd desperately need to hear from me. Times when you'd want to call me and tell me something, or ask my advice, or just hear me say that everything's going to be okay. So I'm saying it now, everything is going to be okay, Anne. You're going to be okay." She leaned closer to the camera, and I could see tears in her eyes too. "I know you're angry with me. Maybe not right now, but at some point in your grief, you were angry. Angry that I got sick. Angry that I left you. Angry that I'm missing all your big moments. That anger is okay, baby. You're allowed to be furious with me. I'm a little furious with myself for not getting more time with you. But here's what I need you to understand, every single moment I had with you was a gift. From the day you were born, this screaming, beautiful 7-pound miracle, to the last time I saw you in the hospital, pretending to be strong for my sake. You were the greatest joy of my life. Being your mother was the highest honor I've ever received." She wiped her eyes, and I watched her take a shaky breath. This was hard for her too. Recording messages for her daughter to watch after her death, knowing she'd never see my reaction, never be able to comfort me in person when I watched these videos. "I'm going to tell you some things now that I couldn't say when I was alive. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was trying to be strong for you. But I don't have to be strong anymore, so I'm going to be honest." She paused, gathering her words. "I'm terrified, Anne. I'm terrified of dying. I'm terrified of leaving your father alone. I'm terrified of missing your future. But most of all, I'm terrified that you'll forget me. Not the big memories, I know you'll remember those. But I'm scared you'll forget the little things. The way I always burnt toast because I got distracted reading. How I sang off-key in the shower. The ridiculous faces I made when I was concentrating. Those tiny, ordinary moments that actually make up a life. So I want you to remember this, I was real. I was a whole person with fears and flaws and bad days. I wasn't perfect, and I don't want you to remember me as perfect. I want you to remember the mother who sometimes lost her patience, who occasionally gave terrible advice, who cried during sad movies and laughed too loud at inappropriate times. Remember the real me, okay? She smiled then, that warm smile that always made everything feel safe. And Anne? I want you to live. Really live. Don't spend your life in mourning. Don't make my death the defining event of your story. I want you to fall in love, make mistakes, take chances, travel, create, laugh until you cry. I want you to have babies if you want them, or don't have them if you don't. Whatever makes you happy. Most importantly, I want you to know that death doesn't end love. I will love you forever. Not in some abstract, spiritual way, though I believe in that too. But in a real, tangible way. My love for you is in every lesson I taught you, every value I instilled, every hug I gave you that you can still feel when you close your eyes. That love lives on because you carry it with you. She looked at something off camera, and I heard Dad's voice in the background asking if she needed anything. I'm okay, she told him, then turned back to the camera. I need to go rest now, but I have more letters for you. Open them when you're ready. There's no rush. They'll be here whenever you need them. She reached toward the camera, and the video ended with her fingers touching the lens, almost as if she were touching my face. I sat there in the garage, holding her phone to my chest, crying so hard I thought I might break apart. But I also felt something I hadn't felt in 3 years, connected to her. She wasn't just a memory anymore. She was here, speaking to me, sharing her fears and her love. And there were 6 more letters waiting for me. I spent the next hour opening the letters that were available. For When You Doubt Yourself was a pep talk that sounded exactly like her, reminding me of all the times I'd overcome obstacles and emerged stronger. For When You Need to Hear My Voice was just her reading my favorite childhood story, her voice soothing and familiar, exactly as I remembered from bedtime stories when I was small. But it was the locked letters, the ones scheduled for future milestones, that made me realize the full scope of what she'd done. My mother had found a way to be present for my 30th birthday, for the birth of my first child, for my anniversary. She would miss these moments in life, but she'd made sure her love and support would still reach me when they happened. As I sat there surrounded by boxes and memories, holding the phone that contained my mother's final gift to me, I understood something profound. Grief isn't about forgetting or moving on. It's about learning to carry love in a new form. My mother might not be physically present, but she was still here, in these letters, in my memories, in the way I lived my life according to the values she taught me. And for the first time in 3 years, that felt like enough. But there was something else in that phone. Something I almost missed because I was so focused on the letters. It was buried deep in her notes app, in a password-protected note titled Simply the Truth. I tried several passwords before finding the right one, my birthday. Of course. When the note opened, I found something that changed everything I thought I knew about my mother's illness and her final months. It was a journal entry, dated 3 months before her diagnosis was made public to our family. I went to the doctor today. Got the official confirmation. Stage 4 lung cancer. Metastasized. Terminal. 6 months to a year if I'm lucky. I haven't told James yet. I haven't told Anne. I need time to process this before I watch it break their hearts. The doctor asked if I'd ever smoked. I laughed, bitter, hollow. No, doctor. I've never smoked a day in my life. This is just bad luck. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong genes. The universe's random cruelty. I keep thinking about Anne. She's finally happy. Finally settled with David. finally pursuing her art without fear. How do I tell her that I'm dying? How do I ask her to put her life on hold to watch me deteriorate? I won't. I've decided. I'm going to wait as long as possible. I'm going to let her have a few more months of peace before her world implodes. Is that selfish? Maybe. But it's the last gift I can give her, time. Time to live without the shadow of my death looming over everything. I stopped reading, my mind reeling. She'd known for 3 months before telling us. 3 months of carrying that burden alone, pretending everything was fine while death's timeline was already counting down inside her. The entries continued, and I read them all, watching my mother's private battle with her diagnosis unfold. Told James today. He broke down. I've never seen him cry like that. He's angry that I waited to tell him. Says we could have started treatment sooner. But the doctors say it wouldn't have made a difference. This cancer is aggressive, unapologetic in its destruction. Treatment will buy time, not cure me. We decided to wait another month before telling Anne. She has that art show coming up. She's worked so hard. I want her to have that moment of success without it being overshadowed by my death sentence. Anne's show was beautiful. I stood there looking at her paintings, all that color and life and emotion, and I wanted to cry. Not from sadness, though there was that too. But from pride. From joy that I got to see her thrive. From gratitude that I'm still here to witness her becoming. I'm going to tell her next week. I can't wait any longer. The cough is getting worse, and she's starting to notice. Better to tell her the truth than let her imagination run wild with possibilities. We told Anne today. The look on her face will haunt me forever. That moment when hope dies in someone's eyes, when they understand that someone they love is going to be taken from them and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. I saw her childhood end all over again. Saw her transform from my carefree daughter into someone who now carries the weight of anticipatory grief. She's trying to be strong. Smiling, asking questions, planning care schedules. But I see the terror underneath. I see her already mourning, already imagining life without me. And I can't fix it. For the first time in her life, I can't make it better. This is the cruelest part of being a parent, knowing you're going to cause your child pain and being powerless to prevent it. The entries went on, documenting her treatments, her physical deterioration, her attempts to prepare us while also trying to squeeze every drop of normalcy from her remaining days. But it was what she wrote in her final entries, just 2 weeks before she died, that revealed the secret she'd kept until the very end. I'm tired. So tired. The pain is constant now, even with medication. But I can't leave yet. There's something I need to tell Anne, but I don't know how. How do you tell your daughter that her pain, her grief, it's going to be complicated by something she doesn't know? Something I've kept from her for her entire life? I made a promise long ago. A promise to keep a secret that wasn't mine to tell. But now I'm dying, and secrets die with us unless we give them voice. And this secret. Anne deserves to know. She needs to know. But will knowing help or hurt her? Will it bring comfort or just add more layers to her grief? I've decided. I'll tell her. But not now, when she can ask questions I might not want to answer in person. I'll leave her a letter. Let her discover it when she's ready. When the shock of losing me has dulled enough that she can process another revelation. My heart pounded. What secret? What was she talking about? I scrolled frantically through the rest of her notes, searching for more information, but there was nothing. Just that cryptic entry and then silence. Then I remembered letter 7. For when you're finally ready to let me go. The letter with no date attached, the one that hadn't unlocked yet. That must be where she'd hidden whatever truth she couldn't tell me in life. I went back to the app and clicked on letter 7. A message appeared. This letter will unlock when you're ready. Only you will know when that time comes. When you've processed your grief enough to hear something difficult without it overwhelming you. When you're strong enough to receive a truth that might change how you see your past. Trust yourself. You'll know when you're ready. But how would I know? How would the app know? I clicked around, trying to force it to open, but nothing worked. The letter remained locked, holding my mother's final secret inside it. I looked back at her journal entries, reading them again more carefully. She'd said it was a secret that wasn't hers to tell. A promise she'd made to keep it. Something about my past. Something that would complicate my grief. My mind raced with possibilities, each more disturbing than the last. Was I adopted? Did Mom have another child she'd given up? Was my father not my biological father? The questions multiplied, spawning fears and doubts that threatened to consume me. I sat there in that garage for hours, reading through everything on her phone over and over, trying to find more clues. But there was nothing. Just that one tantalizing, terrifying hint that my mother had been keeping a secret my entire life. A secret she'd planned to reveal from beyond the grave. And now I had to wait. Wait until I was ready, whatever that meant. Wait until some invisible threshold was crossed and the app decided I could handle the truth. Wait while knowing there was something about my own life, my own past, that I didn't know. The cruel irony wasn't lost on me. I'd been desperate to feel close to my mother again, to hear her voice and receive her guidance. And now that I'd found these letters, I was facing a whole new kind of pain, the knowledge that she'd kept something from me. That even in death, there were still truths she was withholding. But there was also a strange comfort in it. Because it meant there was still more of her to discover. Still more conversations to have, even if they were one-sided. Still more pieces of her story waiting to be revealed. As I finally stood up to leave the garage, my legs stiff from sitting on the cold floor for so long, I made a decision. I would wait. I would let the mystery sit with me, would carry this question mark alongside my grief. And when letter 7 finally unlocked, whenever that might be, I would be ready to face whatever truth my mother had left for me. Because that's what she'd taught me, to face hard things with courage, to trust that I was stronger than I knew, and to believe that love endures even when everything else falls apart. The next few months were strange. I went back to my daily life, but everything felt different now. I carried Mom's phone with me everywhere, checking it compulsively to see if letter 7 had unlocked. It never had. But the other letters sustained me in unexpected ways. On my 30th birthday, letter 2 became available. I waited until I was alone that evening, after David had gone to bed, to watch it. Mom appeared on screen wearing a party hat, holding a small cupcake with a single candle. "Happy 30th birthday, baby," she sang, off-key as always. "I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. 30 is such a milestone. You're entering your prime years, old enough to have wisdom, young enough to have energy. Though I suspect you don't feel that way. You probably feel ancient and like you haven't accomplished enough." She set down the cupcake and leaned forward. "Let me tell you something about your 20s. They're meant for making mistakes. They're your learning decade. Every wrong turn, every failed relationship, every career misstep, those were all lessons. You weren't supposed to have it all figured out by 30. No one does, no matter what social media tells you. Your 30s are going to be different. This is when you'll truly come into yourself. When you'll stop apologizing for who you are. When you'll prioritize your own happiness over other people's expectations. And Anne? You're going to be magnificent. She talked for 20 minutes, sharing wisdom about this new decade of my life, telling me stories about her own 30s, making me laugh with memories of my younger self. At the end, she sang happy birthday again, made a wish on the cupcake candle, and blew it out. I wished for your happiness, she said. That's all I've ever wanted for you. So blow out your own candles tonight, and wish for something wonderful. You deserve every good thing this life has to offer. The video ended, and I sat there crying but also smiling. She wasn't here, but she'd still managed to be present for my birthday. She'd still found a way to celebrate with me. I started therapy around this time. Not because anything was wrong, or rather, not because anything new was wrong, but because carrying the knowledge of that locked letter was weighing on me. I needed to talk to someone about it, and David, bless him, was starting to worry about my obsession with Mom's phone. My therapist, Dr. Sarah Chen, listened to the whole story without judgment. When I finished, she asked, "What do you think the secret might be?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I've considered everything. That I'm adopted, that Mom had another family, that my father isn't my biological father. I've driven myself crazy with possibilities. And how do you feel about not knowing?" I thought about it. Frustrated. Anxious. But also, curious? And maybe a little grateful? Grateful? Because it gives me something to look forward to, I explained. As morbid as that sounds. It means there's still more of my mother to discover. Still more of her story. It's like, she's not completely gone as long as that letter remains locked. Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully. You're using the mystery as a way to keep your mother alive. That's not uncommon in grief. And you need to prepare yourself for the possibility that when that letter opens, it might not contain what you're hoping for. The truth might be disappointing. Or confusing. Or even painful. I know, I said. But whatever it is, it's the last thing my mother wanted to tell me. That has to mean something. We worked on strategies for managing my anxiety about the unknown. Dr. Chen helped me understand that grief is not a linear process, that it's okay to still be struggling 3 years later, that finding Mom's phone and letters had essentially reopened my wound but also given me new ways to heal. The letters are a gift, she told me. But they're also a reminder of your loss. It's important to let yourself feel both the gratitude and the pain. I started journaling, writing letters back to Mom even though she'd never read them. I told her about my days, my fears, my questions. I told her about the secret and how desperately I wanted to know what it was. I told her I forgave her for keeping it, whatever it might be. Writing became therapeutic in a way I hadn't expected. It made me feel like we were still having conversations, still connected across the divide between life and death. Sometimes I'd imagine her responses, hear her voice in my head offering advice or comfort. I knew it wasn't really her, it was just my memory of her, my understanding of how she would react. But it helped. David and I started trying for a baby around this time. It felt both right and terrifying. Right because we'd been planning it before Mom died, and I didn't want to put my life on hold forever. Terrifying because I knew that becoming a mother myself would bring up all sorts of complicated emotions about losing mine. What if I can't do it without her? I asked David one night. What if I don't know how to be a mother because mine isn't here to teach me? She already taught you, he said gently. Everything you need to know, she already showed you. You watched her be a mother your entire life. That knowledge is in you now. He was right, of course. But knowing something intellectually and believing it emotionally are two different things. Months passed. Life continued. I kept checking letter 7. It remained stubbornly locked. Then, one ordinary Wednesday, something changed. I was pregnant. 12 weeks along, past the scary first trimester, finally allowing myself to believe this baby was really happening. David and I had just come back from our first real ultrasound, where we'd seen our baby moving, heard the heartbeat strong and steady. I was lying in bed that night, my hand on my still flat stomach, thinking about becoming a mother. Thinking about all the things I wanted to tell my child about their grandmother Monica, who they would never meet. Thinking about how unfair it was that Mom wouldn't be here to see her grandchild, to hold them, to love them the way she'd loved me. And I found myself talking to her out loud, something I hadn't done in a long time. "Mom," I said into the darkness, "I'm going to be a mother. Can you believe it? I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm doing. I need you here so badly." My phone, which was charging on the nightstand, suddenly lit up. At first, I thought it was just a random notification. But then I saw it was Mom's phone, the one I kept charged and with me always, even though I had my own phone for daily use. A notification appeared, letter 3, for your first child, now available. My heart stopped. I grabbed the phone with shaking hands. Of course. The app had been designed to unlock this letter when it detected pregnancy-related searches or keywords. And I'd spent the last 12 weeks Googling everything about being pregnant, reading about fetal development, joining pregnancy forums. The app had been collecting that data, waiting for the right moment. I clicked on the letter with trembling fingers. Mom appeared on screen, and I noticed immediately that this video was different from the others. She looked more tired, thinner. This must have been recorded very close to the end. "My darling," and she began, her voice weaker but still full of love. "If you're watching this, it means you're going to be a mother. And I'm not there to celebrate with you in person. I'm so sorry, baby. This is one of the things I'll regret most about dying, not getting to meet your children, not getting to be the grandmother I always dreamed of being." She paused to catch her breath, and I could see how much effort it took for her to speak. "But even though I won't be there physically, I want you to know that I'm with you in every way that matters. Every lullaby you sing to your baby, I'll be there. Every time you rock them to sleep, comfort their tears, celebrate their firsts, I'll be there. Because you'll be doing those things the way I taught you. You'll be passing on the love I gave you. I want to tell you some things about being a mother. Things I learned over the years raising you. First, you're going to make mistakes. Lots of them. Every mother does. You'll lose your patience sometimes. You'll make the wrong call occasionally. You'll look back on decisions and wish you'd done things differently. That's normal. That's part of being human. What matters is that you love your child fiercely and do your best. Second, trust your instincts. You'll get a million pieces of advice from everyone, from books, from friends, from strangers on the internet. Some of it will be helpful. Most of it will be contradictory. In the end, you need to trust yourself. You know your child better than anyone else. Your gut will tell you what's right. Third, take care of yourself. You can't eat enter novamente ed continuarper from an empty cup. I learned this the hard way. I spent so much time being mom that I sometimes forgot to be Monica. Don't make that mistake. Your child needs a mother who is whole, who has her own identity, who takes time to recharge. It's not selfish, it's necessary. She smiled then, that soft smile I knew so well. And Anne? I need to tell you something important. You're going to compare yourself to me. You're going to wonder if you're doing things the way I would have done them. You're going to feel inadequate because I'm not there to guide you through every step. But here's the truth, you don't need to mother like I did. You need to mother like you. Your child doesn't need a grandmother's replacement. They need their own mother, you. With all your unique quirks and strengths and ways of showing love. That's what will make you an incredible parent. Not copying me, but being authentically yourself. She shifted in her chair, and I could tell she was in pain. I've left something for the baby. In my jewelry box, there's a locket. It was my mother's, and she gave it to me when you were born. Inside is a tiny photo of me holding you as a newborn. I want you to give this to your child when they're old enough to understand. Tell them about me. Show them pictures. Let them know that their grandmother loved them before they were even conceived. Tears streamed down my face. I'd gone through Mom's jewelry box before but hadn't opened the locket, hadn't looked inside. Now I knew what I'd find. One more thing, Mom continued, her voice growing softer. Becoming a mother is going to change how you understand me. You'll suddenly get why I worried so much. Why I made certain decisions that seemed overprotective or strict. Why I cried when you left for college. Why I called you every day. You'll understand that a mother's love is this fierce, protective, all-consuming thing that doesn't diminish with time or distance or even death. And maybe, she paused, seeming to struggle with her next words. Maybe when you're a mother yourself, you'll understand why I kept certain secrets. Why I made choices to protect you even when those choices were complicated. Why sometimes love means carrying truths alone so someone else doesn't have to. My breath caught. Was she talking about the secret in letter 7? Was she giving me a hint? I love you, Anne. I love the mother you're going to become. And I love your baby already, with everything I am. Take care of each other. And know that I'm watching over you both, always. The video ended with her blowing a kiss to the camera. I sat there clutching the phone, sobbing, feeling the weight of her absence and the gift of her presence simultaneously. Then I noticed something. At the bottom of the screen, a new notification had appeared. Letter 7, for when you're finally ready to let me go, unlocking in 72 hours. My heart stuttered. 72 hours. 3 days. After all this time of waiting, wondering, the final letter was about to reveal itself. The secret my mother had kept my entire life would finally be exposed. But why now? Why had this letter decided to unlock now, triggered by the same event that had opened letter 3? And then I understood. My mother knew that becoming pregnant would fundamentally change me. That creating life would give me a new perspective on her choices, her sacrifices, her secrets. She designed the app to wait until I was in this specific moment, carrying my own child, feeling that fierce protective love for someone I hadn't even met yet, because that's when I'd be best equipped to understand whatever truth she needed to tell me. I spent the next 3 days in a state of anxious anticipation. I went through Mom's jewelry box and found the locket, just as she'd said. Inside was a tiny photo of her holding newborn me, both of us looking at each other with such pure love that it took my breath away. I put it on and haven't taken it off since. I also reread all her journal entries, looking for more clues about the secret. I found a few more breadcrumbs. And asked me today if I had any regrets in life. I lied and said no. But I have one big regret. I regret the promise I made all those years ago. A promise that seemed right at the time but has become a burden I've carried for 3 decades. When she finds out the truth, will she hate me? Will she understand? Or will it just add more pain to her grief? And another. I dreamed about Claire last night. First time in years. We were young again, making plans, promising to keep each other's secrets forever. If she were alive now, would she release me from that promise? Would she understand that dying changes everything, makes old vows seem less important than truth? Claire. A name I'd never heard before. Who was Claire? And what promise had they made? I googled Claire along with my mother's name but found nothing useful. I asked Dad if he knew anyone named Claire from Mom's past. Claire? He frowned. I don't think so. Why? I couldn't tell him about the letters, about the secret. Not yet. Not until I knew what it was. Just something I was remembering, I said vaguely. The 72 hours felt like 72 years. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't focus. David was worried, but I couldn't explain what was happening without telling him everything, and I wasn't ready for that conversation yet. Finally, at exactly 3:47 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, my phone buzzed. Letter 7 was available. I was in the garage again, our garage now, mine and David's, not my childhood home. But I'd retreated there instinctively, needing privacy and quiet for whatever I was about to discover. I opened the app with shaking hands. The final letter loaded. But this one was different from the others. Instead of a video, it was just text. A long letter my mother had written, her final words to me. Letter 7, for when you're finally ready to let me go. My dearest Anne. If you're reading this, it means you're pregnant. You're about to become a mother yourself. And because of that, I believe you're finally ready to understand what I'm about to tell you. This is the hardest letter I've ever had to write. Harder than telling you I was sick. Harder than saying goodbye. Because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see your entire life, your entire history. And I'm not there to help you process it, to answer your questions, to hold you while you work through the complicated emotions this truth will bring. But you need to know. And now, carrying your own child, feeling that fierce protective love I felt for you every day of your life, you'll understand why I did what I did. And you are my daughter in every way that matters. I raised you. I loved you. I was there for every scraped knee, every bad dream, every triumph and heartbreak. But biologically, I'm not your mother. Your biological mother was my younger sister, Claire. I need to explain. I need you to understand the circumstances, the choices we made, the promise I kept for 32 years. Claire got pregnant when she was 17. It was 1991, and she was a senior in high school. The father was her boyfriend, a boy named Marcus who left town the moment she told him about the pregnancy. She was terrified, ashamed, desperate. Our parents were strict, religious. She couldn't tell them. She came to me. I was 25, married to your dad for 3 years, and we'd been trying for a baby without success. We'd just gotten the news that I likely couldn't have children, something about my reproductive system that the doctors said made pregnancy nearly impossible. Claire and I made a plan. We told everyone that I was pregnant. I wore padding to fake a baby bump. Claire stayed hidden during her pregnancy, pretending she'd gone to stay with a friend out of state. And when she gave birth to you, we said you were mine. Our parents never knew. No one knew except me, Claire, and your father. We agreed that I would raise you as my own, and Claire would be your aunt. She could still be in your life, still love you, but without the stigma and shame of teenage pregnancy that would have followed her, and you, forever. It seemed like the perfect solution. I got to be a mother, something I desperately wanted but thought I could never be. Claire got to finish high school, go to college, build a life without the burden of raising a child as a teenager. And you got 2 parents who chose you, who wanted you, who loved you from your first breath. But I need you to understand something crucial. From the moment I held you in that hospital, you were my daughter. Not adopted. Not borrowed. Mine. I didn't raise you out of obligation or because of a promise to Claire. I raised you because the second I saw your face, I fell completely, utterly, irrevocably in love with you. You were my miracle baby. The child I thought I could never have. And every single day of your life, I thanked God for the circumstances that brought you to me. Claire struggled with our arrangement. As you grew older, as she watched me be mom while she was just Aunt Claire, it hurt her. We almost told you the truth several times. But then she got sick. You were only 7 years old when Claire died from leukemia. Do you remember her? You were so young. She loved you so much, Anne. Every time she visited, every birthday present she sent, every phone call, that was a mother's love, even if you didn't know it. Before she died, Claire made me promise something. She made me swear never to tell you the truth. She said you were happy, loved, secure. Why disrupt that with information that would only confuse you? Why make you question your identity when it couldn't change anything? She was dying, and she wanted you to remember her as Aunt Claire, not as the mother who gave you away. So I kept that promise. For 25 years, I kept it. Through your childhood, your teenage years, your wedding. I was mom, and that was enough. That was everything. But now I'm dying too. And I've realized that some promises aren't meant to be kept forever. You deserve to know where you came from. You deserve to know that you were wanted by 2 women, not just one. That you were so loved, we created an entire fiction just to protect you. I hope you're not angry with me. I hope you understand that every choice I made, every secret I kept, was motivated by love. Love for you. Love for Claire. Love for the family we built together. You are my daughter, Anne. Nothing changes that. Not biology. Not blood. Not this revelation. You are mine in every way that matters. I changed your diapers. I taught you to read. I held you when you cried and cheered when you succeeded. I chose to be your mother every single day. But you also carry Claire inside you. Her laugh. Her creativity. Her stubborn streak. Those parts of you that I used to joke must come from your father's side, they were actually Claire's gifts to you. And now you're going to be a mother. You're going to feel what Claire felt when she was 17 and terrified. You're going to feel what I felt when I first held you. You're going to understand the impossible choices women make out of love, the sacrifices we endure, the secrets we keep to protect our children. I don't know if this knowledge helps you or hurts you. I hope it helps. I hope it makes you realize how deeply you were wanted. 2 women loved you enough to create an elaborate deception. Your father loved you enough to raise another man's biological child as his own without hesitation. You were surrounded by people who chose you, Anne. In the box where you found this phone, there's an envelope. Inside are photos of Claire pregnant with you. Her journal entries from that time. Letters she wrote to you but never sent. Medical records that prove what I'm telling you is true. I've left you evidence because I know you'll need proof, need to see it in black and white before you can believe something this monumental. There's also information about your biological father, Marcus. Last I heard, he was living in Seattle. He doesn't know about you. Claire never told him that she went through with the pregnancy. Whether you want to contact him is entirely up to you. I've left what details I have, but no pressure. You already have a father who loves you. And I'm so sorry I couldn't tell you this face to face. Sorry you had to discover it this way, through a letter on a phone 3 years after my death. But I truly believe this is the right time. You're strong enough now. You're about to understand motherhood in a way you never could before. And that understanding will help you process this revelation. I want you to know that my greatest fear in dying wasn't leaving you, it was that you'd discover this truth and think I wasn't really your mother. So I need to say it one more time, I am your mother. I always will be. Biology is just science. Motherhood is love, sacrifice, presence, choice. And I chose you every single day. Claire was your mother too. She gave you life. She gave you those beautiful eyes and that creative soul. She gave you to me because she loved you enough to want better for you than she could provide at 17. Honor her memory. Know that you came from love, not shame. You're going to have questions. Hundreds of them. I wish I could answer them. I wish we could sit down over coffee and talk this through, and I could see your face, hold your hand, reassure you. But you'll have to process this without me, and I'm sorry for that. The next few weeks were surreal. I told David everything. He held me while I cried, while I processed, while I worked through the complicated emotions of learning your entire identity was built on a loving lie. Does it change who you are? He asked me one night. No, I realized. It explains who I am. Those parts of myself I never understood, my love of painting, my impulsiveness, my laugh that never quite sounded like Mom's, those were Claire's. I'm made of both of them. I talked to Dad. He'd been terrified of this conversation for years, dreading the day I'd learn the truth and potentially resent him for the deception. You're my daughter, he said firmly. Biology doesn't matter. I was there when you were born. I was there for every day after. You're mine, Anne. You've always been mine. I know, Dad, I assured him. I know. He told me more about Claire. About how vibrant she'd been, how talented. How losing her had devastated Mom but also made her cherish me even more fiercely, knowing I was all that remained of her sister. Your mother never regretted raising you, Dad said. Not for 1 second. You were her miracle. The baby she thought she could never have, delivered through heartbreaking circumstances. She loved you with everything she had. I started researching Marcus, my biological father. Found him on social media. He was married, had 3 kids. A normal life in Seattle. He had no idea I existed. I haven't contacted him yet. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. I have a father. I don't need another one. But it's strange to look at his photos and see my nose, my chin, my hands reflected back at me. I'd been in therapy intensively, processing this revelation alongside my pregnancy. Dr. Chen helps me understand that identity is complex, that I can honor all parts of my story. You're allowed to be angry, she tells me. Angry at the deception, even if it came from love. Angry that you didn't get to know Claire as your mother. Angry that Monica didn't tell you while she was alive so you could talk about it. And I am angry sometimes. But mostly I'm grateful. Grateful that 2 women loved me enough to do impossibly hard things. Grateful that I got to have Monica as my mother. Grateful that I'm learning this now, when I'm about to become a mother myself, when I can truly understand the depths of maternal love. I've started talking to my growing baby. Telling them about their 2 grandmothers. About Monica who raised me with fierce devotion. About Claire who gave me life with impossible courage. You come from strong women, I tell my belly. Women who made hard choices. Women who loved deeply. Women who showed that family is about choice and commitment, not just biology. I've also started going through all of Mom's belongings more thoroughly, looking for traces of Claire. I found more photos, more letters. I've created a memory box for my child with items from both grandmothers. And I've come to understand something profound. My mother didn't keep this secret to hurt me. She kept it to protect me. And then, knowing she was dying, she found a way to tell me the truth when I'd be strong enough to handle it. The app was her final gift. Not just the letters themselves, but the strategic timing of letter 7. She knew that becoming pregnant would give me the perspective I needed to understand her choices. Would help me see the situation through a mother's eyes rather than just a daughter's. She was still mothering me, even from beyond the grave. Still protecting me. Still preparing me. Still loving me in the most thoughtful, intentional way possible. My daughter was born on a warm spring morning. We named her Claire Monica. 2 names. 2 grandmothers. 2 women who shaped my life in profound ways. When I held her for the first time, I finally understood everything. The fierce, immediate, all-consuming love I felt for this tiny stranger in my arms, this is what both Claire and Monica had felt for me. This is what motivated every choice, every sacrifice, every secret. Claire had felt this love at 17 and made the impossible decision to give me to someone who could provide better. Monica had felt this love and spent every day of my life proving I was hers, biology be damned. And now I felt it too. This love that transcends everything. This love that makes you willing to do anything, sacrifice everything, carry any burden to protect your child. I looked down at Claire Monica's face, my daughter, my miracle, and I whispered, "You have 2 grandmothers watching over you. One who raised your mama and one who gave her life. Both of them loved you before you were even born. Both of them are here with us now." I could feel them both in that moment. Mom's steady presence, the one I'd carried with me every day since she died. And Claire's too, this woman I barely remembered but who I was finally getting to know through journals and letters and the creative spark she passed down to me. David took a photo of me holding Claire Monica, and later, when I looked at it, I was struck by something. I looked exactly like the photo of teenage Claire in the hospital, holding newborn me. The same expression of wonder and love and fear and hope. The cycle completing itself. It's been 6 months since I found Mom's phone. 6 months since I discovered the letters. 6 months since I learned the truth about my origins. People ask me if I'm angry about the secret. If I feel betrayed or lied to. And honestly, I'm not angry. I understand now in a way I never could have before having Claire Monica. I understand why teenage Claire made the choice she did. I understand why Monica kept the secret, honoring her dying sister's wishes. I understand why they built their elaborate fiction, motivated entirely by love and the desire to protect me. Would I have made the same choices? I don't know. But I'm not them. I didn't live through their circumstances. And I don't get to judge decisions made out of love before I was even born. What I know is this: I was loved. Deeply, profoundly, impossibly loved. By 2 mothers who each sacrificed differently. By a father who chose me knowing the truth. By a family who kept a secret because they believed it was best for me. I was loved so much that people rewrote reality to protect me. And when the secret couldn't be kept anymore, Mom found a way to tell me with such care, such consideration, such perfect timing that even from beyond the grave, she was still taking care of me. That's what I'll remember. Not the deception, but the love that motivated it. Not the secret, but the thoughtfulness with which it was finally revealed. Mom's phone sits on my nightstand now. I still check it sometimes, even though there are no more letters. Sometimes I just look at her photos, watch her videos, read her texts. Sometimes I imagine her holding Claire Monica, the grandchild she never got to meet but loved anyway. And sometimes, when I'm rocking my daughter to sleep in the middle of the night, exhausted and overwhelmed and wondering if I'm doing anything right, I swear I can smell lavender and vanilla. I swear I can feel Mom's presence, still guiding me, still loving me, still being my mother in every way that matters. The app is still on the phone. I've never deleted it. Because even though all the letters have been opened, even though there are no more secrets left to reveal, that app represents something important, my mother's love, preserved in digital form. Her voice, her wisdom, her presence, all still accessible whenever I need her. And I do need her. Every day. Just in different ways now. I've started recording videos for Claire Monica. Messages for her to watch when she's older. For her 16th birthday, her graduation, her wedding day, her first child. I'm creating my own digital legacy, inspired by Mom's. Because if there's one thing I learned from finding that phone, from discovering those letters, from living through this entire journey, it's this: love doesn't end when someone dies. It transforms. It finds new ways to express itself. It reaches across time and space and the boundary between life and death to remind us that we are never truly alone. My mother may be gone, but she's still here. In the letters she left. In the values she instilled. In the way I mother my own daughter. In the courage she gave me to face hard truths and the wisdom she provided to understand them. And Claire, my first mother, the one I barely knew, she's here too. In my creativity, my impulsiveness, my laugh. In the impossible choice she made at 17 that gave me the life I have now. They're both with me. Always. Both my mothers, both parts of my story, both essential to who I am. I found one more thing on Mom's phone last week. Hidden in the Notes app, in a folder I'd missed before. It was titled simply "When You Become a Grandmother." I opened it with shaking hands. And, if you're reading this, it means my greatest wish came true: you had a baby. I'm a grandmother, even if I never got to meet them. Tell me, was it a boy or a girl? What did you name them? Do they have your eyes or David's smile? I wish I could be there to help you through those first exhausting weeks. To tell you that every new mother feels overwhelmed. To hold the baby while you sleep. To assure you that you're doing better than you think. But since I can't be there in person, let me tell you this: you're going to be an incredible mother. How do I know? Because I raised you. Because I see my values reflected in your choices. Because you were loved so well that you know how to love. Your baby is lucky to have you. Just like I was lucky to have you. Just like you were lucky to have Claire and me both. Now go. Your baby is probably crying, they always are. Go pick them up, hold them close, breathe in that sweet baby smell. And know that I'm there with you. In the lullabies you sing, the way you rock them, the fierce protective love you feel. I'm there. Always and forever. Mom. P.S. I left one final thing for you. In my jewelry box, there's a ring. It belonged to Claire's mother, our mother, your grandmother. 3 generations of mothers. Give it to your daughter someday, if you have one. Pass on the legacy of strong women who love fiercely and sacrifice beautifully. I'm wearing that ring now as I write this. It's a simple silver band with 3 small stones, one for each generation. One for my grandmother. One for Claire. One for Monica. 3 mothers, connected across time, all part of my story. And someday, I'll add a 4th stone for me. Then I'll give it to Claire Monica, and she'll understand that she comes from a line of women who knew how to love impossibly well. 3 years ago, I found my mother's phone. I thought I was looking for closure, for one last connection to the woman I'd lost. Instead, I found something far more valuable. I found truth. I found secrets kept in love. I found proof that maternal love doesn't end with death. I found a new understanding of my own identity. And most importantly, I found her. Not just memories and photographs, but her actual voice, her thoughts, her fears, her hopes. I found digital pieces of my mother preserved in time, waiting for me to be ready to receive them. The phone is old now. The battery doesn't hold charge like it used to. Someday it will stop working entirely. But that's okay. Because the real gift wasn't the technology. It was what my mother did with it. The time she took while dying to create these messages. The thought she put into when each letter should unlock. The love she poured into every word. That's what lasts. Not phones or apps or digital files. But love. Love that makes you stay up late while sick and in pain to record videos for your daughter. Love that makes you keep a secret for 25 years to protect your sister's memory and your daughter's peace of mind. Love that finds a way to reach across death itself to comfort and guide. My mother gave me 2 final gifts. First, she gave me those letters, her voice, her wisdom, her continued presence in my life. Second, she gave me the truth about my origins, delivered with such perfect timing that I could receive it with understanding rather than anger. Both gifts came from the same source, a love so profound, so selfless, so enduring that it literally transcended death. I don't know if there's an afterlife. I don't know if Mom and Claire are together somewhere, watching over me and Claire Monica. But I know that love doesn't die. I know that the people who shape us remain part of us forever. I know that my mother found a way to keep mothering me even after she was gone. And that's enough. That's everything. So here's my question for you, wherever you are, listening to this story, have you ever discovered something about a loved one after they were gone that completely changed how you saw them? Or maybe you're carrying a secret right now, wondering whether to reveal it. Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. This community has become a place where we share our grief, our secrets, our complicated relationships with the people we've lost. You're not alone in your story. And if this story touched your heart, if it made you think about your own parents or the secrets families keep, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Every week I share true emotional stories about love, loss, forgiveness, and the complicated beauty of being human. Hit that subscribe button. Because there are more stories coming, stories about ordinary people navigating extraordinary circumstances, stories about the things we hide and the truths we eventually reveal, stories that remind us we're all just doing our best to love well and be loved in return. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a story that might be exactly what your heart needs to hear. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being part of this community. And if you're grieving someone right now, if you're carrying a secret, if you're struggling with complicated family history, I see you. Your pain is valid. Your story matters. We're in this together. One story at a time.